Good morning. We still have snow on the ground. It's been lingering quite a bit longer than it did last year for us, but we don't mind. We enjoy it. So it'll probably be gone into this week, but with the snow and the cold weather, get off, there's thorns on me, is a perfect time for animal processing. So we're getting our setup ready. We got our barrel with our burner underneath. That's how we're gonna scald the pig. And then I got our winch. So I got this barrel cleaned out this morning. Filling it up with water now. We'll get it turned on. Take a couple hours to heat it up probably. We're on about 150 degrees. And I think it's 30 degrees out here right now, if it's that actually. So we'll get it turned on. We can always drop the heat a little bit later start, but we're in no rush to get the pig done today. So this is probably gonna be a little bit longer video. We're gonna show the entire process: killing, sticking, scalding, scraping, eviscerating, breaking down, the whole deal with that. And then I think what we're gonna do is put out a couple extra videos during the next few weeks about how we process making sausage, bacon, that whole deal. So this will be censored because of YouTube, but there will be a link in the description for the uncensored version if you want that. So we'll try not to show too much of the blood and gore on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like that, and some of you might not like that. So with that said, I gotta get this filled up, about 30 gallons or so in here, and then we'll get it fired up. We'll let it heat up, and then we'll see you guys up by the little pigs when it's time to do the deed. All right, the little ones are ready. They're not so little. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just kneel down, get in place. They should hang out here. We did not feed them this morning, so they haven't ate since yesterday morning. Ate. So they should hang out. I'll take the shot. Tina's gonna grab the bucket of feed and go feed them in the feeder on the other side of the paddock. That'll draw the other ones away. Then we can stick it, drain it, and then we can pull it out. So they're all about the same size. I'm just gonna go after whichever one will allow us the shot. We're not too picky. And then we'll take the next step. Okay, so we got what we're gonna use here is a Remington 700 in 222 caliber. And it's what we used the first time, and it works pretty well. So a lot of people use 410 shotgun. I don't have a 410, so that's why we're gonna use this. All right, so if you didn't click the link in the description, you didn't see what we did yesterday processing the pig. If you did, you saw us yesterday afternoon, and we're back today. So we got the pig all ready, broken down. We got it hanging here in the garage. Our enclosed work area is nice. Behind we got our table with all of our bins and everything that we're gonna use. And we're just gonna break down this pig. So it's gonna be a little bit different. A lot of this is gonna go to grind for sausage making. So we got a lot of roasts and stuff from when we sent our one hog to the butcher. So a lot of this will go towards grind. We're gonna do prosciutto, we'll do bacon. We'll get the copa out and we'll kind of make like a copa but pepperoni style. We'll take the loin. We may or may not do Canadian bacon with the loin. So we'll get this broken down, skinned, all that jazz, and then we can start making some bacon and processing the grind and the lard and all that stuff. Okay, so we got our first half of pig. The head would be here. We took that off yesterday. This is the shoulder, front shoulder. The Boston butt is on top, picnic's on the bottom. This is the belly, ribs in here. This is leaf lard, loin, and the ham is on the back. So, with that said, it's a little frozen from being outside last night, so it should be good to cut. Some parts are thawing out, so. All right, so first things first, we want to remove the leaf lard, which is in the belly. That's just gonna pull off. I guess I should preface this by saying that I'm not an expert, and there's many ways to do this. I've just processed a couple hogs in my day. So the leaf lard is the best lard for baking and for rendering, but it's not so good for sausage making. Put that in the container. Next up, we're gonna take the tenderloin, which is up under here. And you can just pull it with your fingers. Just trim it up just a little bit. Get some of this excess stuff out of the way. So now you can see the belly here. That's your bacon. So we need to cut it down now into quarters. So we'll take the picnic. I'll go right here at this last vertebrae here. And you can find it with your knife and just cut right through. Got a little bit off there on the cut, so some bone. So I got a little bit off there, you can see, but that's no big deal. Just go ahead and trim that. And we'll use that for our grind. So there's the picnic. Now for the front, I want to cut between the 4th and the 5th rib. There's one rib that's kind of hidden back here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a cut. Have to cut that out. Saw. Alright, there's the front. Next up, our bacon and our loin. Turn this so it's easier to see. Now you can see the loin here, good layer of fat, back fat, and then we want to cut it right there and separate the belly from the loin. Don't know how well it picks up, but there's a little piece of fat cartilage kind of right through here where you want to cut down. Draw that line all the way over. You can cut all the way through on that side till you get to the rib.
Both pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like both sides.
So you can hear the difference. Not really hearing anything, that's when you're into meat. And that's when you want to stop. Go back to your knife.
Good?
Yep. All right. So, belly. Loin. Picnic. Oh, sorry, ham. And picnic. So that's all there is to breaking that down. Now we'll start with the low-hanging fruit, which is the belly. So you can see the line here for the ribs, spare ribs. I'm gonna hold as close to the bone as I can. We're not huge rib fans, pork rib fans at least, so we don't really save these. spare ribs. Didn't quite go close enough. A bit of cartilage there. So these are what we call rib tips. It's just that little piece of cartilage with some meat. We save these and we'll fry these up just like chicken wings. We call them pork wings. So we leave our skin on our bacon. Again, I'm just gonna trim this up a little bit. Save the skin for chicharrones. All right, so there is the bacon. And since we have a smaller slicer, we'll go deep enough on this. Go. So that's what you want for your spare ribs. Like I said, I didn't go deep enough, but it's not a problem. Save those. So our slicer is not the biggest slicer in the world. I think we can do 6 or 7 inch pieces of slabs of bacon. So that's what we'll cut this into probably. If we cut it into thirds, we should be able to fit that. So. And we leave skin on. So there is 3 slabs of bacon. Okay, so like I said, we don't eat ribs, really, pork ribs. So these will just go to grind and stock. I know some people probably won't like that, but like I said, we don't eat it, so we don't save it. Okay, so now we got the loin. These are your baby back ribs. Again, we don't want ribs, so these will get cut out. But we're gonna hold the knife as tight to the rib as we can. And we're just gonna debone this loin. All right, there's your loin. Here's your ribs. Like I said, we don't eat the ribs, so this will go straight in the stock pot. turkey loin. You could take the skin off. Just gonna trim it up a little bit. We are going to do these as just chops. So we'll do them for like stuffed pork chops. So we're just gonna cut them to about 2 fingers widths. Which is a pretty big chop, but again, they're gonna be stuffed pork chops. All right, so now I'll take the skin off of these. And some of the fat. Okay, so we got our chops. We got 13. There was 2 more, but they're kind of like this. So I just cut those up into grind. And then we got all of our skin, and then the fat we took away. So that's our chops. All right, next up we'll do the front. So this is the shoulder. We're gonna do this a bit different because most of this is going to grind. So really we're just gonna debone the whole thing because we're not gonna save a Boston butt or the picnic. Those are both good for pulled pork, but we have a bunch of pork roasts. So they are not getting saved. We're also not going to save the feet because we have a bunch of those. So you just kind of find the joint. If you ever process a chicken, this is much the same, just a bit bigger. the hock, we're gonna go basically right in the armpit. Find that joint. Missed it a little bit. Now for this one, this here, get it trimmed up. This here is the copa, which we're gonna save that. This is one of those feather bones. There's another one right here. You can kind of see it right there. And now we can make a cut in. Get this out. That's where the bullet went in. A little bit of, not to gross everybody out, but a little bit of brain matter there. If you made it this far, you're probably not going to be grossed out. So. So I cut it slightly off. This is about the line for the Boston butt. So this would be the Boston butt, but right where that joint is. trim this back a little bit. You can see it. So you can see that ball and socket joint there. See it a little bit better now. So that's the bone you want to cut around there for your picnic and your shoulder. Okay, so we got this all trimmed up now. We need to take this copa out of here because we're going to save that. So I'm just going to get rid of some of this tougher meat from the hang last night. And then basically just going to follow that muscle group around. And we can kind of peel it right out. It's on top of this H bone here. If you got the right spot, it should just, it kind of pulls right out. And this is where capicola comes from. So I just trim it up a little bit. You can see the so we'll save that. That'll get cured. And then now for the last little bit. This is what you would see if you buy a Boston butt from the store. This is the bone that would be in it if you're making pulled pork. All right, last up, we got the, what is it? Here's a dog. So we got the picnic, or the ham, sorry. So this is not getting broken down. We are going to make a prosciutto out of this. So this is the back end, the anus, the tail would be here. So this little area right here is the cavity where all the intestines would run through back to the back end. So that's where we're gonna split it. A little off because there's a bone right here. All right, so we're through it. There's our haul. And we got the 2 hams in the cooler because those are going to be prosciuttos. So I'm sure you saw our cooler wall. We moved our freezer wall. We moved our freezers in. That fridge, we found out, died. It doesn't cool down enough. It only cools down part of the way. So that one is a cooler, a refrigerator. These 2 are freezers currently. They switch back and forth. So we got those 2 set up as freezers. That one right now is just a refrigerator because that thing crapped the bed. So I'm gonna have to see if I can't fix it. I don't know what's wrong with it. If I can't fix it, we'll probably have to buy another freezer again. Seems like that's all we do lately. But we're gonna get this stuff weighed up, see how much we got. Like I said earlier in the video, we're gonna do sausages and that stuff, but I'll probably release those as we make them, like maybe 1 sausage video a week or so for a couple of weeks. And yeah, and we'll go from there. So we just gave the chickens the scrap. You saw the bucket that I was tossing it underneath. That's all the crap that we don't want to eat, the stuff that looks nasty, some of the skin that we didn't use. We gave that to the chickens. That was 12 and a half pounds of stuff. So we started with 195, so minus 12 and a half is what, 182 and a half. So that's usable product that we can then eat. So we'll get this table cleaned up. We'll start weighing stuff and vacuum sealing it, and we'll show you how we do it. All right, so while I'm breaking down this pig, we'll go over the cost breakdown. And then at the very end, we'll tell you what the cost per pound is, since we'll need to weigh out everything after I get this broken down so we can see. But the pig live weight minus the blood was 248 pounds. That was right after we shot it and stuck it. And this pig was exactly 6.5 months old. So 6 months, 2 weeks, 248 pounds. Hanging weight was after the head was removed, the organs taken out, that was 195 pounds. So that's 79-ish% yield out of that. We bought the pigs for $75 a piece, and we fed them organic, soy-free, non-GMO feed. Price of the feed was $26.83 per bag, which is 50 pounds. Total feed per pig no, sorry. Total feed for all 4 pigs up to this point was 79.5 bags, or 19 7/8 bags per pig, which comes out to just under 1,000 pounds of feed per pig at 993.75 pounds. So total cost of feed per pig up until this one was $533.25. The other 3 pigs are obviously going to cost more because they have another month to grow out and they're going to get fed the same amount, and it's going to be 1 less pig. So they're actually going to get, each pig is going to get fed more the last month. So usable meat cost, so the hanging weight cost per pound without labor, $2.74 per pound. The cost of water, shelter, any bedding for the winter is not included. We can get by typically using rainwater for our pigs if needed. So really that could be no cost. We do supplement with hose a little bit if we don't have any rain. And bedding is not really needed if you raise the pigs during the summer. So we didn't include anything for that. And we typically use old junky hay or hay that the sheep don't eat or whatever else. So we don't really have a cost for that. If you don't have that option, there would be a cost for some bedding if you're raising them in the winter. Labor, we figured approximately 10 minutes per day for 4 pigs. That covers the moving and the feeding because we move every 10 to 12 days, which takes a bit more time. But we have a bulk feeder, so we don't necessarily have to fill that up every day. So it kind of evened out. We figured about 10 minutes per day. And then labor cost for our county, average labor or average salary is $52,000 a year, which is about $25 an hour if you're working 40 hours a week. 151 total days of us having the pigs up until slaughter day. So that's 1,150 minutes, or 25 hours, 10 minutes, or 6 hours, 17 minutes per pig. So 6 hours, 17 minutes per pig times $25 an hour, $157. Cost to process, we didn't include since we did it ourselves. When we processed our last pig, it ended up being $1.36 per pound that we took home. But that included fat, bones, organ meat, which there's extra cost to that. They ground it, there's extra cost to that. So every processor might be slightly different. Using that number, it would have cost us $265 for this pig. Because we're getting all the 195 pounds of hanging weight, there's no waste. There is that bucket we had under the table, that is going to the chickens, but that's technically chicken feed. So it's kind of not a waste product, whereas at the butcher, you don't see that trim. You won't see some of the bones, and you won't see some of that stuff. So our cost for this pig to butcher would be about $265. Your cost might vary. So with all that, the total cost to raise this pig was $533.25 for feed, $157 for labor, $265 for processing if we took him. Total cost $1,030.25, or $5.28 per pound hanging weight. Now, that is not actually what we got because, like I said, there was some trim. Typically, the fat and the organ meat is not included. So we'll take all that out, and then at the end of the video, after we get everything packaged up, we'll show you what our cost per pound of meat is. And this also is going to be slightly different because we saved the 2 hams making prosciutto. So those hams were about 40-ish pounds, 42 pounds. We're not going to get 42 pounds of prosciutto at the end, but that's going to factor into this cost. So there is slight variations, but like I said, at the end of the video, we'll tell you the total cost with the meat that we actually got, minus fat, bones, organ meat, trim, and that sort of stuff. All right, so we got it all broken down now. Now we can start bagging it up. So we do need to cure some of this stuff. This is a copa. So we got 2.7 pounds. Just another copa. 3.1. Just write those on that bag for me. 3.1, because we'll need that for tomorrow.
Okay. Not seal it, right? This one's 3.1.
So this is a pork loin that we'll use for Canadian bacon. They're the same, 2.2. Dang, that was a good cut on my part. So here we got the skin. We'll use that for pork rinds. Those are too big for that.
What? I'm sorry. These are the tenderloins at what?
2.1 and 2.2. We'll cure those, so.
Does it matter which one it is?
No, that's fine. Don't seal it. All right, so our pork chops. We'll put 4 chops in a bag. That's 1.8.
It's hard to write on that when it's in there.
2.3.
What, these are going to seal?
Yeah. $2.6. That one's got 5 in it. So.
Do you want me to put count in there too? No?
Now you can see it. So here's a ham hock. There you got 1.7. What did I do with the other tenderloin?
What did you say?
These are our rib tips. $1.9. All right, so this is the skin. We got 3.6 pounds. And for the bacon, we got to cure it. So but we're running out of salt, so we got to wait for the salt to show up here. Be tomorrow to cure those. So we're just gonna weigh the bacon and see how much we got. $30.1 pounds of belly. Oh, 30. 30 pounds even. That's pretty good.
Wow. I bet you couldn't do that again if you tried.
I know. So this will have to cure, but again, we're waiting on the stuff that we need, the salt. So that's gonna go in the fridge just like that. All right, now we got bones, which will cook down starting tomorrow. $18.9 pounds of bones.
18.9.
Good Lord, we're gonna have a lot of sausage. 46.1. And last but not least, fat. All right, so we got 5.6 pounds of leaf lard. And 14.4 pounds of back fat. All right, so if you made it this far in the video, we thank you. And we got the final numbers and the final cost per pound. So we ended up with total meat, not including organs, fat, bones, that sort of the trim, that stuff that is not, we're not really using as far as eating a meal. We ended up with 152.5 pounds out of 248 pounds live weight. So total cost, like we said earlier, $955.25. So divide that by 152.5, and total cost of this pig for us was $6.26 per pound. So we haven't bought meat at a grocery store in going on, well, we bought, when we first moved here, we bought some ground beef because they had white oak pastures there, but it's been years and years, so I have no idea what regular pork at the grocery store costs. Organic, pasture-raised pork is really hard to find. Pasture-raised pork you can find. So I don't know what those costs are, but I'm sure this is cheaper than if we bought it that way. So that is the cost, and that is the breakdown, and that's the whole deal with us raising the pig. So next video, we'll do it'll probably be Monday, not this coming Monday when this comes out, it'll be the Monday after. We'll do our bacon, we'll do our prosciuttos, we'll do our lard, we'll do our stock. We'll do all that little stuff. We'll do our grind. We'll do all that processing type stuff of the rest of the meat that we have. And then, like I said earlier, every Monday for however long it takes, we'll put an extra video out so it won't tie into the Wednesdays and Saturdays like we normally do. And we'll do our sausages and all that stuff and show you guys those. So if this is interesting to you, hopefully you'll watch those videos. And then, like we said earlier, there's a link down in the description if you want to see the shot and the whole evisceration and all that stuff. So with that said, that's where we'll leave this video. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.